What's up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of season 2 of 15 Minutes of Lame. Where are they now? This time we're catching up with the class of 2021. Not all of them. This was a weird year. Some of the contestants turned out to be cheating dickheads, and to be totally honest with you, I just didn't want to have them on the show again. So fuck them. This series is sponsored by my ride or dies, Patrick McKnight and Andre Kosevich over at Chimera. If you're like 99% of the ball python hobby, you need some direction. Whether it's business-wise, pairing-wise, or marketing-wise, you need to know what you don't know. Chimera could get you where you want to be because they do know. Go follow them after this episode at Chimera Reptile on the old gram. All right, here we go. This first episode features Jason Bigler of Morph Mixology. Did his ball python dreams come true, or did he fade from the public eye quicker than the Holy Thursday massacre? Hey, it's funny because it's true. Here's my Where Are They Now session, season 2, episode 1, with Jason Bigler of Morph Mixology. My old friend, Mr. Jason Bigler. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you been?
Good, man. How's everything been going for you, man? How's the last 2 years been treating you?
I feel like I haven't talked to you in a month of Sundays. Like we talked all the time up until my show, and then I just went dark.
Well, you went dark on YouTube, right? Like you haven't put a YouTube video out in about a year.
It's been more than that. It's been probably close to 2.
What made you decide to stop doing the YouTube stuff? Because you were heavy into the social media part of it.
You know, in all honesty, it was twofold. I'm sure you and others watching are aware I had my second kid a little over a year and a half ago.
Right.
So two kids at the time, 2 kids under 2, and a full-time career, and then the snake business that I do 99% of by myself. It just became too much, and quite frankly, because of the changes that YouTube was making in AdSense and algorithm and stuff like that, I wasn't seeing a noticeable benefit from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I put in the time to do videos regularly, and I've talked to a lot of people about this because every time I get to a show, someone's like, "Oh man, when are you gonna get back to YouTube? I missed the videos." I don't know that I'm going to get back to the videos. I do miss the live streams that I used to do. Those were fun.
Right.
You know, and so I might get back to doing those because the fun thing about that is it's, an hour, if I can keep it, cut down, of just sitting like this, and then I hit save and it's already live and done. I don't have to do anything with it.
Right.
So I just wasn't seeing any kind of noticeable, for lack of better terms, profit from it, aside from just the name recognition, which had already been established. You know what I mean?
Right. Because the name recognition is a big deal.
Sure.
But after doing YouTube for 3 years, I could tell you it is not worth it. Okay. it is definitely not worth it. And the only reason I do it is because I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't produce animals. I don't do the typical breeder shit. But you were on fire for a while there. And honestly, because of where you live, I just haven't really heard about you in the last 2 years. Like you go to the Tinleys and, Arlingtons, but you don't vend at those shows, right?
No, I made a point a couple years ago. I made an agreement with my wife that that I can go to and visit 2 of the big shows a year. So it just works out with our schedule that February Arlington and October Tinley tend to work out the best. In coming years, I may mix that up and go to Pomona or Anaheim or, whatever. But I do that more so that I can stay engaged with what's going on with the people that follow us, with the projects that the people are working on. And it's a great time. Honestly, I just enjoy being out there and seeing everybody. But as far as vending, either of those shows is an 18 to 20 hour drive commitment. Right. And I'm just not, certainly last year we had a rough year, but I don't think I'm producing at the caliber that warrants vending those shows. And I know that there's people of all sizes and varieties that can vend there. I just don't know that that's my spot yet. So we've made a point this year. I've vended more shows this year than I have in total in the 5 years prior already.
And those are all local shows?
They're all generally within 8 or 9 hours.
Oh, that's a lot, man.
I did the Pacific Northwest show in Puyallup, Washington in January, which is 13 hours for me, and it was the largest waste of my time I've ever been to. That was a brutal drive. I had a bunch of snow and ice and stuff I was dealing with, and then I had truck problems on the way back, and I didn't even sell enough to cover my lunch,
Right.
So that one kind of pissed me off, but the show circuit seems like it's been kind of tough lately anyway. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one you've heard from that's been having a rough go. It's like everybody other than Bob and Justin, isn't selling, it seems like. And it happens. And sadly, it seems like it follows the political climate, which right now is in turmoil as it is. But I actually got it, whether you call it, a fate or divine intervention or whatever, I had our worst year yet last season for whatever reason.
And by that, do you mean numbers wise or do you mean odds wise?
Production. I went from, I can't remember them all, but I was like, I did like 8 clutches, then I did like 17, or 19, then I did 17 the year before. And then last year I paired for 24 and got 6.
Okay.
And there's I can't find a reason why. It's not something that I can pinpoint. But to be fair, I'm actually kind of glad that that's the way it worked out, because I've still got a few left over in the grow out rack from last year. Right. So I don't know what I would have done with 150 animals if I couldn't get rid of the ones I've got currently.
Right. And are you currently doing your own rats?
No, I gave that up when we moved to this space 3 years ago. I just don't have the room for it, and with the kids, it didn't make a whole lot of sense at the time. I'll tell you, I do from a feedings perspective, I miss it because it's so simple, and then if they don't take it, you just throw it back in the rack and move on. But from the production in that, I don't miss that at all. It's so easy just to get 3 boxes from Cold Blooded Cafe and put them in my freezer.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say the rat people, weird people, man.
The rat, I'll tell you what, that's the business right now. If you can get into rat production on a large scale, that's because everybody's hurting for rats right now.
Yeah. And what really, so other than the lack of production, have you just gotten to the point of where, I'd much rather spend my time being a father and being with the family than being down here with the snakes, or, what's going on with that?
No, sorry, I'm all congested. I just got back from an 8-day road trip. So, I haven't lost any of, I know your favorite word, passion for it. No. Right. Yeah. I'm also getting heavy into Huffman, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Okay, all right.
No,
that's where the money is, right there.
Right, exactly.
The rat people, the money's in the Huffmans.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I haven't lost the love for it. I do still. It's kind of like a drug, almost. I imagine, because I can see. I'm starting to. I've learned a lot about the combinations and what it takes to make them and the odds, and my wife doesn't understand. Excuse me. My wife doesn't understand how I can sit here and say, I'm going to put that one with that one, and I got a 12% chance of hitting this, and it's a 1 in 64 for that, and and start just throwing stuff together. For whatever reason, that stuff works really well in my brain, and so I can see forward to what's coming, and so it's almost like you're constantly chasing that purple dragon. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not saying that there's no chance I'm ever going to get there, but I've had days where I'm like, you know what? Somebody just buy all of this shit so that I can pay off some other debts, put some money into my family and travel and whatnot, and I'm just going to go do my thing. And then, I come out and I pull open a tub this morning and there's eggs in there. I'm like, you know what? There's still something here. It's tough right now, and you always have those fuck it, I'm done with it thoughts when you're not making money hand over fist and moving animals like crazy, but we had some really cool stuff this year. That's our first time pairing for, which I'm really excited to see. We're already way above last year's pace. In fact, that's clutch 6 that's sitting in there I need to pull. And I think I counted 15 are due for either pre-lay or eggs here in the next month. So right. we're definitely on the right side of the production again, which is encouraging. I do think I'm probably going to lose the one so I had one lay. Of course, it's one of the ones I was really waiting for. I had one lay while I was gone.
Right.
And I'm guessing it laid fairly early after I left, because when I pulled the tub open yesterday, they were really deflated and desiccated already.
Right.
So they were dehydrated. So I've got them in a special egg box purely on water, trying to see if I can get them to recover.
Right.
And it sucks because that one had my shot at Super Orange Dream Banana Freeways, which I was pretty hyped for. But
right.
I got 3 other freeway clutches this year that should go. But we're working in the right direction. It's tough because, if I had $100,000 to put into it today, Miguel is a perfect example of how if you can make the big upfront investments, you can make big money fairly quickly down the line.
Right.
I'm not in that position. So I've had to slow grow it for the last 5 years or whatever. But I'm to the point now where I'm making some pretty nice stuff. And I'm right around the corner, more than likely next season, from our next big step up in production.
Right.
So that's encouraging.
Well, and because of where you are, and it is an 18 to 20 hour drive to get to the big shows, do you ever see yourself vending those? Because there's ways to do it, but there's not ways to do it where it doesn't cost an arm and a leg,
Yeah, I would love to. More than likely, I'd like to vent. Actually, I'd like to vent to either. I really like the Arlington show. I like that crew.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I love Dallas in general. I've been trying to move there for years, but that's probably that's easily a 20-hour commitment, and I guess the biggest thing I found is getting into those shows right now. That wait list is huge.
Yeah.
So. But I'm working with my career. I'm working on a couple of different things that could move me into bigger markets and closer to some of those bigger shows. And so that would put me in a better position to do so. Like I said, I've been trying to move to Dallas for a while. So if I got that gig, I could vend 40 weekends a year probably.
Right. Well, yeah. And honestly, in Texas, there's literally a reptile show going on somewhere every week. Yeah. The problem is in Texas, it could be a 20-hour commitment drive too. Yeah,
and then never leave Texas. Exactly. Yeah.
So where do you see Morph Mixology in 5 years? Because you're on the way to doing stuff, but as you know, it's always there's a little bit of gambling involved, and there's a little bit of luck involved in this. And do you see yourself growing to the point of doing it full time?
No, God, no, not even close. No, I made that decision a long time ago that I have zero desire to do this full time. And I'll be honest with you, Chris, I hate to say it this way because I know there's plenty of people that are going to listen to this that I truly respect, and I feel like have a level of respect for me in this hobby, but I don't want to go full time because I honestly don't believe it's sustainable.
Yeah.
The big players, the people that are making the big money have been here already. And that's the thing. I don't know that getting in now, unless you've got the big upfront money, I don't know that there's no way to catch up. That's the problem.
Right. Without spending the big money.
Sure. Yeah. And not that there's anything wrong with being a pet level breeder or, for a lack of better terms, a Repticon vendor, or whatever. But there's a gazillion of us.
Right.
There's only a dozen Justins. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that's part of it. And I just, I've got a really good career. I thoroughly enjoy my work. It's exceptional pay. Certainly, if I get this next progression in my career, it's great benefits for my family. It's afforded us the ability for my wife to not have to work full time. She can stay home with the kids. So all of that to say, I've never had any aspirations of going full time. In all honesty, the answer to your question, where do I see it in 5 years? I'm either going to be producing 15 to 20 clutches of $10,000 a clutch production, or I will have closed up shop and I'll be traveling.
Right. Yeah, and what's the difference now in your attitude towards it than it was 2 years ago?
Like I said, I don't know that the attitude has changed. I think, a lot of people say, you see people getting out, and I swear I've seen them dropping like flies the last many months. It seems like too,
Yeah.
But I see people all the time that get out and they're like, I just don't have time for it. I got other important things in family to deal with and whatnot, and they were producing 6 clutches a year. Like, so let's be real. I mean, you did this with far more snakes than I'm doing. This size does not take a lot of work.
Right.
There's 180 tubs in here or something like that. I lost count a long time ago, but this is a 20 clutch facility as far as I'm concerned. It's not that much work. It really isn't. I come in here and check on everything every day to make sure it's the way it's supposed to be, make sure my floor's not flooding like it did a couple weeks ago, stuff like that. And I do full tub turnovers, and I do one really big top to bottom cleaning day a week. It's not that hard. Right. So it's not for a lack of time or desire. It's just, as you can imagine, it's tough when you put in the energy and the time, and then you can't hardly give stuff away. And there's nothing I can do to control that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a control person in general. That's literally in my job title. And I don't like having to bend to the will of the U.S. political and economic system because 2 people can't get their shit together in Washington. So I have to sit here because nobody has any money to spend on what quite frankly are luxury goods. Right. So when nobody has any nobody has any extra money to spend, they don't go out and buy $500 or $1,000 snakes at a reptile show. They go spend $5 at the reptile show just to get the hell out of their house for a weekend.
Right. Yep, and they become zoo people.
Absolutely.
That's what we used to call them here. Just the shows were packed here in New York, but they weren't packed with buyers.
Yeah.
And that's where it got to the point we couldn't really sustain on doing just at the time the 4 big shows a year. What do you think of what's going on with Morph Market right now?
I don't have all the details, so I have a hard time speaking on that intelligently. John has been very good to me in general. I like John a lot. I consider him a friend now. In fact, I was at his place for the Super Bowl after Arlington this year.
Right.
I like John a lot, and I don't think John would do anything deliberately to destroy his baby that he created. That let's be honest. Morph Market, I'm only 6 years into this, something like that. I've only ever known of Morph Market being there. That's how I found snakes
right.
and how I got into it. But I can imagine that Morph Market was probably the best additive creation for the snake or the reptile hobby in general.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because for people like me who can't be at shows every weekend, I sell 99% of what I do on Morph Market.
Right.
And there's a value add to that. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to spend the $300 for this membership. I join, 4 days later, I sell $1,000 snake. I'm done. Right. It's right. Like, so I'm like, quit bitching and get your subscription kind of thing. So I trust that John knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but John is no longer in charge.
That's true. But I'm saying what I mean is I trust that he knows what he's doing as far as transitioning Morph Market to different ownership.
Right.
Because, I talked to him and he's like, he said he really wants to get back into doing this side of it more. He wants to have his like a very small specifically crafted collection of stuff and do some breeding and that kind of thing too. And he wants to get back to his family, and I don't blame him. I get it, but as far as Darian and how he's managing it, I honestly don't know. I've talked to Darian twice about some issues that I've seen, some features I'd like to see fixed or added. There's no denying that dude is full steam ahead with this. Now, whether we like how he's going about it, whether we like the memes on Facebook or whatever the case may be, that's neither here nor there. If he can drive results, then we should all just buckle up and hold on, because it's going to be for the betterment of everybody.
Right. Yeah. No, I like a lot of the stuff that Darian's doing. I like that he's, putting the badges on the wild card and not doing the venomous and kind of hiding the croc pages. But my problem is that he's just such a dick while he's doing it. Like, he's just
you should like that, man. He's right up your alley.
You would think, right? You would think, but I'll see some of his memes and I'll just be like, I don't know if I would have did that, and pissed off half the base. But
yeah, but you gotta judge him on results, not on intentions, right?
Right, but the results for my friends, my friends at your level of things, okay, not the starting people, not the it's insane amount of money people. They haven't really seen better results. It's great that you have 4 million people visiting the site. Sure. But if 4 million people visiting the site aren't converting to sales,
it's the same. It's the same problem as the show.
As it always was. Yeah.
No,
so,
I get that, and that's been it's funny with the shows. I got another buddy of mine that I've run into in the last couple of shows, and I have 3 outside this door. I have 3 3D printers now, and I print the 3D flexi fucking dinosaur toys and shit like that to put on my table.
Right.
And I have gotten to the point now where I take those to pay for my trip, because the 3D printed toys sell better than the snakes do. And
I believe it. Yeah.
And every table at the last 3 shows I've vended at that had 3D printed toys on them has sold out.
I believe it, but how long does it take you to make those fucking toys on the 3D printer?
Each one's about 8 hours.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man. I don't know. I would be looking at it the whole time. I would just be watching it.
You have to, because when they go south, they go south in a big way. But I do it. It's gonna be fun having the 3D printers for other things. I make toys for my kids and stuff like that. I'm actually prototyping a new show display system that I came up with a couple years ago, to help limit things walking off of tables.
Right.
I don't want to go much further because it's not real difficult to figure out how to do it, but I have this design and I need a larger footprint 3D printer to pull off what I want. So I'm prototyping that, excuse me. And then I'm going to probably work with, I just drew a mind blank. The pack racks dude. Why can't I think of his name? Oh,
Philip.
Fucking Phil. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, they're probably going to work with Phil because he's obviously figured out how to have stuff produced. Or, quite honestly, I'll just call Jesse. I mean, he's got the factory manpower, right?
Right. Yeah. Or Matt over at ARS too.
Exactly. Yeah. So once I get it dialed into what I'm trying to accomplish, I think it's a pretty cool concept, and it's one of those things like you got to learn. You look at Justin; he's a perfect example. You got to learn how to diversify what you're doing. Justin does not just breed 2 snakes together, get eggs, hatch them, sell them to you. He now runs clutch and his other stuff in that. Right. And he's in different avenues, and a lot of which produce income. I hate the term passively because it takes work to manage it and create it, but a supplementary income stream that does not require your day-to-day attention like the collection does. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And if I can come up with a product like Phil's the same way with pack racks or whatever, that all it takes is some Chinese plant or whatever to pump these things out for a few dollars. And, I've got a storefront on Etsy or whatever. And all I got to do is ship them. Then that might be kind of a cool gig. And if it benefits the hobby and it gives people more peace of mind at the shows with their setups, then so be it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The money is in right now. I think it's in the dry goods. It's in
Oh,
the
by far.
products. It's more, you know, I see people with dry goods at shows crushing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Making 100 grand a show.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the people that normally would make that, you know, 30 to 40 grand on ball pythons, it's just not there anymore. And I honestly think that if you're going to buy a high end snake right now, you're not going to buy it at a show. You're going to buy it through Morph Market.
I
You
did.
know, so you bought a high end snake at a show?
Yeah. No. I threw Morph Market. I don't buy anything at shows hardly.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
half the battle is I've not sold enough to buy anything, quite honestly. But no, I'm finishing up with Justin right now, actually, and it's not to kiss his ass all day, but I've been waiting for as close to exactly what I've been looking for an ideal male for 2 years.
Right.
And Justin posted one. I showed it to my wife. I said, I don't care what we have to do. This is the animal I've been waiting for. And so I started up with him, and he's been great with me because he understands too that we're having a hell of a time right now. So he's been super flexible. I mean, it probably helps that he knows who I am. I've been to his house. I've bought a number of animals from him. You know, I don't know if Joe Schmo off the street could work a similar situation that I have with him, but I got to give him credit for being patient, for the lack of a better term, you know,
Right.
with me. But that one I'm pretty excited about because if he can be the size and ready for this fall, well, maybe not this fall, but coming up, I've got some big plans and we're moving that direction. So that's that next step. We got to the point where when I bought my freeway male, he was $1,800 or whatever it was, which was the most money I'd ever spent on a snake. It blew my mind.
Right.
And now I told my wife, I said, we're in that next echelon. We're in that $5,000 animal range.
Right.
And then when we're going to move a little bit further, and before too long, we're going to be in that $8,000 to $10,000 animal range. Is going to be the big hitter that our collection needs to be sustainable moving forward. Because I can't keep making $300 pies for the rest of my career. That's just
right.
I don't have the volume to breed at that level. That's the difference.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Some people can. Some people could put out, you know, 100 pies a year and make 30 grand, and that's fine with you. You know, they're good with that.
Yeah.
But those are normally the people that are not planning on growing. So, you know, as far as designer stuff goes, you know, there's always going to be a market for that $300 to $500 snake. But also, I've been seeing less sales of those now too than the $3,000 and $4,000 snakes. You know.
Yeah,
so,
I made that comment on one of the Facebook posts, and it may have even been in the Morph Market sellers group. I can't remember, but somebody was saying something about that. I was like, I have seen more movement of $1,000 and up animals than I have in $1,000 and down animals in the last year.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, no, that's bullshit. Who are you watching? I'm like, well, the guys that are actually selling animals and making money. What are they selling?
Right. Well, the problem is with the $1,000 and under people, right? They don't know the world of the $2,000 to $5,000 snakes, you know, and it's just irritating to watch them. To be honest with you, it's irritating to watch these fucking people that have been doing it for a year and telling you how to do it, you know. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I can't stand. And I agree with you with the political climate and everything. Whereas you get a Democrat in office, the whole thing gets fucked, right? You get a Republican in office, everything goes smooth for the next couple of years, you know. But the amount of damage that could be inflicted immediately by one or the other is almost it's almost insane that we even put up with it, you know.
Yeah, you know, and I have said in recent years that the more I get involved with politics and with my job, I've been on Capitol Hill. I've done grassroots lobbying with the senators and congresspeople. You know, I hate nothing more than identity politics.
Yeah,
it pisses me off that so many people in this country put so much stock and self-worth and value in some political party or person or campaign that, quite frankly, they don't give two shits about any of us.
Right.
I don't care if you've got an R or D or an upside down Q next to your name. It's irrelevant to me.
Yeah, none of them give a shit about.
They all suck. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't take 3 brain cells to realize that their entire existence in Washington is to get reelected. That is it. That is their career. Their career is to get reelected. Period. It's not to make your life or mine any better, because there's no way, this perfect example, there's no way to please everybody, right?
Yeah.
So during COVID and all that crap, where people like me were like, dude, fuck this. I have a brain. I understand how simple, germs and shit work. I'm going to keep going about my life. I'm not going to lock down and bathe in hand sanitizer for the next 3 years and whatnot. We were ostracized and outcast because we were nuts. And the other side was like, please, sir, sit here and hand me more Biden bucks so that I can sustain my existence.
Right.
Now, during that period, we sold snakes like they were candy. It was
Right.
awesome. So I'm not going to come out and say that just because there's a Democrat in the White House that I'm not going to make any money this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying the ebb and flow of the political climate in general from what I've seen in the short time I've been in, tends to reflect in our ability to succeed. And that seems to be almost one-in-one with the American economy as a whole, right? Now, you can assign that to one side or the other, but at the end of the day, I couldn't care less who you agree with because they're all terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just the whole thing in the last couple of years, quite honestly, since Trump was elected, it's just been mind-numbingly annoying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit. They're all awful. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Trump was the second coming of Christ either. So it's just and I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you that he's the answer for 24.
Right.
But it's just, I'm willing to go down the political road. It's just, the identity politics stuff in recent years has just been pathetic. And it's devolved to divisiveness across all spectrums, right? I can make a comment on a post you make and say, dude, your fucking hat is silly looking. What are you doing? And some guys would be like, yeah, you fucking libtard piece of shit, racist. What are you doing? Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking poking fun at Chris. Leave me alone.
Well, that's the whole thing, is nobody gets it anymore.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I like about you is that you always got it. Like you always knew. You like, oh yeah, Chris called me a fucking dickhead, but Chris fucking, is cool with me. And yes, I'm cool with most people. Okay, I call most people dickheads, but that's just the I think that's just the grow up phase. Like depending on the time when you grew up. Because now I'll see my nephew, like fucking somebody will say to him like, "What's up, dickhead?" And he'll come home and he'll be like, "Yeah, dude called me a dickhead today, man. It really hurt my feelings." I'm like, "What? Jeez. Like, why? What is wrong with you?" But that's why I just fucking lock myself in the old fat cave here and don't go outside. And it's so much easier that way. I'm living like I'm still in the pandemic. So
that was the best thing ever for you, man. Just lock down and fuck everybody.
Yeah, people are like, how do you how are you dealing with just being home all day? And I'm like, I work from home and I hate people. Like I've been quarantining since 2014. Like fucking I'm good to go. But anyway, Jason, fucking thank you, brother. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I'm gonna put it out next week. I'm sorry that you got the old background. I was just too, I didn't even realize.
Hey, I like Pat's logo, man. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but Pat's logo isn't sponsoring it so anymore.
Oh, well, that's awkward then.
But Pat's new company is sponsoring us.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just I feel bad, but fuck it, I'm lazy. What are you gonna do?
If I can say real quick, Chris, since this is coming out soon, I mentioned I got 3D printers now, and if you've been paying attention, I try to bring something kind of unique and cool to each of the shows I get to for Tinley and Arlington for the auction. And last October, I brought a big 3D printed Pikachu picking bank with freaking Dub Life glasses and or Thug Life glasses and a big chain and stuff. And people put money in it, and then we auctioned the whole thing off at the show. And
Oh, cool.
Of course, Bob Vu bought it. Bob told me that if he didn't win, he wanted me to make him one anyway. But this year for October, I plan to be at Tinley again in October to visit, and I'm bringing something that it should be probably other than what Addie creates, because nobody can compete with what that girl can paint.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't even try. Other than her stuff, it should be probably one of the showstopper items, I think, and it'll be 100% hand built by me. But I'm excited. I'm working on it now. It's going to take me a few months, but it's look forward in October, Tinley. It's going to be a pretty sweet auction item.
Well, you'll definitely have to send me pictures because I don't go.
I will, because just based on the background of your little fat cave there, you probably are going to want it. So
yeah, you send me pictures and let me know.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me. Go spend the day with your family. How could people get in touch with you if they want to?
Man, the easiest place is Instagram. Everybody knows where it is. I'm wearing a different Jason shirt today, but the same orange and white, Martini Snake logo, Morph Mixology on everything. I may get back to the live streams on YouTube, but Instagram's where it's at. I only use TikTok as a viewer. I have no desire to ever put anything up, so nothing there. But yeah, the easiest place is just send me a message on Instagram, and that's where the updates of what's being produced, what we're making, that kind of stuff is on. And then Morph Market, we try to keep current as much as possible.
Beautiful. Morph Mixology everywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Jason, thank you again, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I totally appreciate it. And I want to thank Jason again for letting us know what he has going on these days. Remember to check out Chimera Reptile on Instagram to learn what you don't know about turning this hobby into a business. I'll see you in about 10 days for episode 2 of Where Are They Now, season 2. Thanks again, guys. Take it easy.